this, everybody's probably familiar with a funnel, a sales funnel. That's the way people really draw out your plan as far as it goes with building the business and building your brand, especially from a marketing and advertising standpoint. So the traditional thought is we start, and one thing that I will talk about here, and I'll go through it on the webinar as well, is our ABCD process or methodology. And what that means is that I want to keep it very simple whenever I'm thinking about the steps that you need to go through in order to see success, whether you are offline in a brick and mortar service or just a traditional business, or you are an e-commerce brand. And first, it's A, you got to acquire attention and awareness. B, you got to build trust. You got to build credibility. You got to build a relationship with your consumer, with your clients, with your market. C, you've got to convert that and close that into paying customers. And then you got to double up. You got to double up your database. You got to get more people coming back to buy more, to refer, to leave reviews and talk about your brand and sell your brand for you to help build that up. Now, everyone wants to start here. This is where we look at. But if you look at the whole evolution of a business, and if you're just starting off, let's say you just got your LLC and you're looking to get started, this is where you're going to start. You're going to start, and if you're not thinking about this, this is what I would recommend. Once again, this doesn't mean you have to do it. It doesn't mean it's what is right for you or your business, but this is where you're going to start. Start at the database. So you reverse it. It's reversed. That's what we have to understand. If you want to build a successful business, you've got to look at this and reverse it. Database. You start with your local database. People you know, people that are friends of yours, people that are partners, tapping into that, people your followers are friends with on social media, to tap in, tell them what you're doing, and seeing if you can help them out. You may even have to do that for free, because at that point, you make them aware of what you're doing. These are people that most likely already know, like, and trust you and are hot. What is considered a hot lead? I'll go through that on the webinar. The main difference between hot, warm, cool, and cold leads. That is a big thing now that I have learned is something that is hard to really wrap your head around if you're not in it every day like I am. So you're going to start off with people who know you, that are closest to you. You're going to then drive them into the conversion part and close them, whether that's for free just to get some case studies and get some stuff happening, great. But what that does is you take this hot lead, this hot prospect, or warm it at least, and you get them in and you start selling them. And then once you sell them and you close them, that's when you start building trust, not just with yourself, but other people, the people that you're helping, the people that you initially started off with. That starts building trust, starts building credibility. And then once you do that, at that point, you start getting organic attention and organic awareness, meaning people will come to you through referrals from the people that you've worked with. People will talk about what you've done for them, and you'll start getting people coming to you, wanting you to help them as well. However, these are all hot and warm, which is why I did this in red. At least that's my thought process. I don't know. But you have a lot of control during this part of your business journey, where you are building the business and you're going kind of a reverse funnel, right? So you are in a lot of control. Now, what happens at that point? You get to this point, you're going, man, I'm doing great stuff. I've got a couple employees maybe, or I've got some VAs that are helping me out. You know, I can really take this thing up a notch. Why don't I start marketing and advertising? And this is typically what happens, is you get here and then automatically you just want to immediately drop back down the funnel. And that is where the mistake is made. Because most businesses, when they are jumping from the business side to what I refer to as the brand side, they're building a brand, they miss the most important piece, which is the transition. And there's so much underneath this transition that needs to be done in order for this to be successful. There's systems, there's processes, there's sales processes, there's sales conversations, there's testing, there's all types of things that need to be done here as you're making that transition to make sure you are ready to go down here. And that is where I see everything missed. That's what I'll be reviewing in the webinar. And to give you an idea of what this is where people should be getting to once they build the business up. They go through the transitional period, which can be very short, It can be a very lengthy process, just depending upon what you've got and what you're doing. But you've got to build all this up. And let me talk to you why. Whenever you go and you start coming back down the funnel, first off, this where it was organic, and you're getting a lot of people coming to you, word of mouth, referrals, all of that. And they're hot and warm because they already have a sense of trust in you because of that. You start marketing and advertising, and you create the awareness, you create the attention. No longer is it them finding you or hearing about you. You are opening up people's minds to it. Some of them that you're introducing them to your product, your service, your solution for the very first time. And so what happens then is you go out, you start running marketing and advertising campaigns. The next step, which is B, build trust, build credibility, build authority. The consumer finds that. You don't control that. This is the side of little control. And that's what a lot of businesses are prepared for. Because if you can't control that, you better have all of your internal processes and systems and strategies and everything under control. Control the things you can control, which is up here, doing it in the right way. Then, let's say they get through the building the trust. Let's say they get to that. You're not set up properly online. You don't have the right things in place. You don't have the right things in place so that they can see everything that you've done. You know, here, it was already being done. You're doing that. The people you've brought through, they're the ones that are building the trust and credibility for these people that are going to come in from that. But here, it's the exact opposite. They're going to try to find you. If you're not set up, they're going to be like, who is this? And essentially what you did is you just wasted a ton of money for your competition because your competition is going to be set up here. They're going to be able to find them and go, you know what? I want that solution, but I don't want it from them because I can't find anything on them. You know, they look kind of sketchy to me. Then let's say you get through this and they go through the build trust and they come down to the convert and close. If your sales process, your sales team is not prepared in the right way to have the right conversations, to engage with consumers that are coming back down here in the right way, because these are no longer warm and hot leads. Completely different conversation. Yes, are they going to know a little bit about it? Absolutely. And the other side of it, where this is different, not a lot of sales, not a lot of having to go through a lot of information and really find out, really going through that list and making sure you are qualifying and making sure you are asking the right questions and dropping the buyer's guard down. You have to do that here. Because if they are coming through and they see all this and they are going to get to this point where they're actually going to talk to somebody first, this is the first time they're actually engaging with somebody on your brand. If they don't have the right feel at the very beginning, from the first second that they get on that call, it's over. You lost it. So you better have that buttoned up. You better have everything buttoned up as far as the experience from the time they schedule an appointment or they schedule a demo or they want to come into your place of business. That process needs to be streamlined because people expect it to be that way. That's part of your customer success and your customer experience, is it needs to be buttoned up. And you do that through automations and tools and leveraging technology because that's what people expect. We may not think about it, but the consumers do. And if your competition has it, you're going to lose. And once again, you just spent money for your competition to get business. But the consumer lead comes in usually about 85% prepared, maybe even 90% prepared, already knowing, already having the information. So you're really not even in control of that. They're looking for you. They're looking for your sales team to be the remaining 10%, to cross that line into wanting to purchase your product or service. Where over here, that's not the case. So once you go through that and you start looking at it and you start identifying the bottlenecks, then once you get down to let's say you get them in your database, where this was you were having to build your database, you're having to reach out, you're having to actively go out there and put people into it. Maybe you're networking, maybe you're marketing, or not marketing, but maybe you're doing biz dev, creative partnerships, going to associations, chambers, all that, and you're putting people in your database. Once you get down here and you come back down, you should be at a point where the consumer is the one doubling up your database, helping you double up your database, helping you double up your revenues from the database. And then once you get down here, that's when the transition almost kind of goes back up and you get to really scaling at that point. But all this is where the mistake's usually made. Everybody tries to force it down, but you got to go up. And before you go back down, you got to go through the transition. And if you're not sure, one, you've been through that transition, you got the right things in place, show up to the webinar in a couple of weeks. I'll be putting stuff out there. Obviously, comment below if you want to know more about it, because I'll hop on there. I'm not going to go through all this stuff. It's going to be straight to the point, and I'm going to get to it. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing, how you do it, all of that. If you want our help,